Well, greetings and a most heartfelt salutations to everyone out there. I am Lord Cash. I'm being joined by AllThatPat for a very special episode of Slam Nation, presented right here on the New York Nerd Show channel on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, wherever you can find us. We are broadcasting live right now. So the question is, AllThatPat, have you caught the Mania fever?
I've got a fever, I think, but I don't know if it's for WrestleMania, cowbell, or something else. Definitely looking forward to the. Yeah, we're only 5 days out, basically. The 2-night extravaganza known as WrestleMania. It's going to hit us up on April 2nd and 3rd, I believe, this weekend.
First and second.
First and second. Okay, I know it's Saturday and Sunday, one way or another. Lots of matches on the card, and WWE Raw is actually going to be taken off shortly to see if there's any last-minute adjustments. But we're going by what we have already tonight as we make our predictions about the Showcase of the Immortals.
That's right. So it is Monday night. It is just before Raw's going to kick off. They're probably going to be doing their live, first hit, from the show beforehand before they get started here in the next 5 minutes or so. But there, I believe, are 13 matches so far that have been announced. One of those matches is not even fully booked. There is still a set of competitors that has not been announced for the women's. I can't even think of what they're calling it right now.
The showcase match. It's like the WrestleMania showcase.
So there's 3 out of the 4 teams that have been picked. But let's go and jump into. It's not a match, but it's kind of, each year they've been doing something. This is the guy that's going to be representing WrestleMania, both days 1 and 2. And that is, of course, The Miz. What are your thoughts on The Miz being the host of WrestleMania this year? I know in the years past, they've had The Rock, they've had Hogan, they've had, I think, maybe Cena. I think one of the years when it was here in Orlando, it was New Day was the host.
Yeah, New Day was the host. Rob Gronkowski was the host during the pandemic WrestleMania. I think The Miz is the perfect choice for this. I mean, obviously he is from Hollywood. He is the A-lister, so he meets it just by gimmick alone. And I'm sure he will have some sort of interaction with someone like a Stone Cold Steve Austin. Not The Rock, I'm sure, but just he'll be having a memorable moment or two during the 2 nights. But yeah, he's a good pick for that particular role.
Yeah, definitely. The fact that it is in Hollywood, you've got the A-lister as the host. I feel it's a perfect choice. The only again, if John Cena wasn't wrestling, then he would be kind of the person, The Rock. But again, they've been using The Rock a lot lately, and I don't know. Just let him do his movie stuff. He's doing pretty good.
Well, I mean, if The Rock was going to show up in WrestleMania, it would have been to fight Roman Reigns more than likely. So,
maybe if he does show up, maybe that'll be the sowing of the seeds.
Possibly.
So who knows? But the question is, what do you think? Leave your comments down below. Do you think host responsibilities is best fit by The Miz? Or do you feel that there's someone out there, one of those WWE superstars that would actually be a better host? Or maybe not even a superstar. Maybe it's just someone from, Access Hollywood. I don't know.
There you go.
All righty, so we're going to move on to our actual first match of WrestleMania. And as of right now, this is the only match that is, I'm going to say 100% set in stone, that this is the only match that is labeled as night 1. I know your main event is going to be a night 2, but again, this is the first one. This is the only one that is actually labeled as Saturday, April 1st, and that is Austin Theory, the United States champion, going one-on-one with John Cena himself. This was one of those matches that really kind of came together as I don't want to say like a quick match. They kind of pulled together in about 2 to 3 weeks. I also feel the way Austin has been running his title reign with kind of doing that whole maybe little gimmick of the open title.
With the open challenges. I mean, like Cena did that when he had the belt. I think it's what you're alluding to.
Basically, like he was kind of referencing John Cena's run as the U.S. champion, and then so when Cena made his appearance on Raw, it was the natural, conclusion of that they were going to butt heads, and then of course Austin Theory called him out, brought the fans into it, and of course that's Cena's kryptonite is bringing the fans in. If the fans want it, he's going to do it. So,
Right.
what are your thoughts? Do you think this is going to be a good match? And for that matter, do you think Austin Theory will walk away with the title?
I think it's going to be a good match. This match was originally rumored back in the summer of last year when they went to SummerSlam, and I remember hearing a lot of mumblings about Cena possibly facing Austin there. I do think that Austin Theory is going to beat him. I think it's going to be very damaging if Cena, who hasn't been full time in over 5 years, shows up and beats him, legend or not. But Theory's not going to beat him clean either, though. I would imagine he'll hit him with like brass knuckles, like maybe those old Word Life knuckles that Cena used to rock back in the SmackDown era. But I do think that that Theory is going to win, and it's for the belt too. So I mean, I'd be really surprised if John Cena comes out of nowhere to win the United States Championship. So yeah, my pick is Austin Theory, but with shenanigans.
Yeah, I agree. With the title being on the line, with some of these part timers coming in, especially knowing that John Cena is kind of just coming here for WrestleMania. He's not going to be on Raw the Monday after. He's
Right.
not going to be here 3 weeks from now on Raw. So he's not gonna win the title. And if for some magical reason he does, he's gonna drop it the next night. So,
Right.
but again, I don't foresee that. And again, also Austin Theory is not going to play nice. He's not going to play fair. So therefore, something's going to happen. I almost wonder if John Cena is going to come out as, since Austin Theory is kind of that punk that he would wrestle as in his earlier days when he was, the master of thugonomics, that if he does come out, with the word life and everything, and somehow Austin does get his hands on those, maybe the chain, lock necklace that he wore at the beginning or whatever. So
I could definitely see a reference point to like throwback John Cena for sure from one or both of them.
and maybe B Squared's going to come back and turn on John Cena.
Man, that's a long time coming. Get that Bo Buchanan, get him out of the mothballs, put him back in the ring.
So what do you think? Do you think Austin Theory is going to walk away with the United States title, or do you think John Cena is going to present that hustle, loyalty, and respect and take that title away from Austin Theory? Let us know in the comments down below. All right, moving on to another one that's kind of got that mixed personalities to it. That is Seth freaking Rollins going up against Logan Paul. Logan Paul, who is not an official WWE superstar. I know he has a contract with them, but again, one might say he's not a WWE superstar. He's not out there every single week putting his body on the line, entertaining the WWE universe. But I do have to say, I have been impressed by him. I don't like him.
That's the goal. That's what
he's doing his job properly.
Yep.
And I understand that. I respect that. And again, I have to give him all the credit in the world. He is coming out there and doing stuff that you would see from 5-10 year seasoned veterans doing moves. The move that he did to Roman Reigns, jumping off the turnbuckle and hitting Roman Reigns on the announcement table over in Saudi Arabia.
With the camera. That was the best. Yeah.
That, I'm sorry, like him or not, I have to give him props. That was impressive.
I think this match, the booking for this match actually ties a lot to the Universal WWE Championship match for me. Because if, as we'll talk about later, if Cody Rhodes is the one to win the main event, if that's what they go with, I think that Seth Rollins having a victory against Logan Paul would be a perfect story to put a little fire back into the old rivalry that Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins had when he first came back to the company. That would really set Seth Rollins up to be maybe his first contender if he would have beat Logan Paul. But if they don't have any interest in having him be the first contender, then whoever wins is kind of a moot point. Logan Paul typically loses his matches. When he lost to Reigns, he did beat Miz. But no, that's not true. He actually won the tag team match against the Mysterios last year too, which was very weird. So yeah, he's probably like a 4-match-a-year guy. I'd still say that, like, he's either going to win cheaply or Seth Rollins is going to win. I think Seth's going to win to make the crowd go, be happy. But that's my take. Seth's going to win one way or another.
I do feel that Seth Rollins is going to win as well. I don't know if there's going to be any. I think shenanigans is the word of the hour, of whether or not he's going to do something. But I do think there's going to be there's something going to play into it, because they're essentially both heels.
Yeah. Seth Rollins does not play fair.
So there's going to be some interferences. Something's going to happen. Whether it is the classic Eddie Guerrero, throw the chair, fall on the ground, of something of distraction. To my knowledge, it's just a straightforward match. It's not, nothing special about it. So who knows what's going to happen, but I am in agreement with you. Seth Rollins is going to come out the victor. What do you think? Go ahead and put your comments down below. Seth frickin' Rollins or Paul Logan? That's right. I always get confused. Is it Paul Logan or Logan Paul? Logan Paul.
Logan Paul.
Back to the slide. It is Logan Paul. And I knew I said it wrong. So go ahead and leave that comment down below and tell us who you think is going to be the victor at WrestleMania 39. All right, let's move on to a women's title match. So this one, we are going to be talking about Rhea Ripley, who won this year's Royal Rumble match and has officially challenged Charlotte Flair for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. This one is definitely a very personal match from 2 years ago.
It was 2020, so 3 years ago, actually. It was it was the Performance Center WrestleMania. This match, I think, is one of the easiest matches on the entire 2 nights to call, because the only reason I could even imagine that they gave the belt to Charlotte Flair off of Ronda Rousey back in December was for this match, because Charlotte came out of nowhere, beat Rousey, took the belt, and I think it's just so that she can drop it to Rhea Ripley as a redemption, so to speak, of the, as Gorilla Monsoon used to say, the miscarriage of justice that was Ronda Rousey or Rhea Ripley losing to Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania. It would have been like 36 or whatever. Rhea Ripley has to win this. She has too much momentum. Charlotte Flair doesn't need this at all. And again, I genuinely feel that Charlotte Flair was shoehorned into the women's title division over the past 3 months just to make this moment possible.
Every now and then, we agree on things, and then there are those times when we are the furthest from agreeing. This one is the first. I agree with you 100%. Rhea Ripley has all that momentum. Everything with Judgment Day that she's doing with Dominic Mysterio, everything that's been going on with that storyline. I think Mommy's coming home with the title belt. It has to be, and again, it's every now and then the WWE actually pays attention to history.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those history moments that they go, hey, this happened a few years ago. Let's reverse the situation. Charlotte Flair won the Royal Rumble back in 2020, challenged Rhea Ripley for the NXT title, and Flair took the title off of her. So now it's only fitting I made sure I used fitting, not fair, because it's very similar. But fitting that Rhea Ripley this year wins the Royal Rumble, and then now is going to be taking the title off of Charlotte Flair. So I 100% agree. Judgment Day needs what they're doing with that stable. They need a title in their presence, and
I think it's going to tie into the rest of our predictions too. But I actually think the Judgment Day is going to sweep the night. But again, we'll get there. Maybe even our next prediction coming up. But I think that it's going to be a big night, big weekend for Judgment Day.
Yeah. So, question is, you at home, what do you think? Do you think Rhea Ripley is going to win, or do you think Charlotte Flair is going to keep her title for just a little bit longer? Go ahead and leave those comments down below. Now, as I mentioned, WWE pays attention to history, storyline. This next match is one of those storylines that has been building not only just for a couple months, but for a year and then some. Because I'm talking about the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championship. The Usos are going one-on-one, so to speak, with Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. Sami Zayn, who has been exiled from the bloodline, who has recently repaired his friendship with Kevin Owens, and now they have teamed up together to take on the undisputed tag team of the Usos. This is one of those matches that I am 100% Sami Zayn. I'm trying to look exactly like him right now. I guess I need to start coloring this in a little bit. His is too red for me. But I have been.
You have a better chance of looking like Sami Zayn than I do Jey Uso.
Well, I was gonna say you and Kevin Owens.
Maybe.
But I definitely have been on the Sami Zayn wagon since day one. I have loved him as a performer. I kind of had a rough patch with him when he was really the conspiracy theorist. But as
that was my favorite Sami Zayn, actually. During the pandemic, it was fantastic. But anyway.
It was a struggle for me, but I loved him as a performer. He's always done good. He's always come out there, definitely given 100% every single time that he's been out there. And then when he started getting with the bloodline, I thought like he was doing absolute gold out there. The things that he was saying, the things that he was doing, just getting into the crowd, when he was saying, that someone wasn't feeling oozy enough, just it exploded. And that was one of my most favorite things about Sami Zayn and his time with the bloodline was just him on the mic. He's so fantastic.
No, yeah, and this storyline that is just a big part of Papa H, Triple H's part of his masterful booking over the past year too. You alluded to it, long-term storytelling here. Looking at their history, I think this match is going to deliver. All four guys can go. I mean, again, like everything else, so I don't see anything but the most obvious result in KO and Sami Zayn winning the belts. Knocking out one of the pillars out of the the house that is the bloodline. I just think that WrestleMania 39 is when the bloodline finally collapses, a la DX back in WrestleMania 14. I think that maybe the whole organization, so to speak, of the bloodline is going to collapse, and then maybe it'll get reborn under new leadership down the line. But again, I can't imagine the Usos retaining.
This one is extremely tough for me. I do want Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens to win. I want that bond and that faction to really grow and have them being title holders. However, I think I'm gonna have to go with the Usos, though.
Really?
It's like maybe a 51 to 49%. It is literally that close in my head. And that is only just because I feel like Sikoa might be a factor into this.
I mean, like Solo doesn't have a single match on the card, which is kind of interesting. But I mean, yeah, he'll definitely be a presence both in this match and in the main event. Um, I guess
And
a lot of it is too is like if you're right or if I'm right, whatever. It's like what's next for those belts, right? Usos retain. They've beaten majority of the roster during their 2-year run. But Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are still fresh as a tag team, so they have a lot more opportunities.
right.
Um, but yeah, I mean, you might be right. There might be some like interference from Solo to
I had a theory, and I mentioned this to Lady Cash back at Royal Rumble. I have not had the chance to talk this with you. So when we get a little bit further in our predictions, I'm going to throw it out there and just see how it sticks. But that does play into the Usos retaining the title.
Okay.
So, but my question to you, what do you think? Do you think the Usos are going to keep their title, or do you think Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are going to swoop in and take those titles, take both of them off of the hands of the Usos, and bring that crack to the armor that is the bloodline? So leave those comments down below. All righty. We've got another women's title match, and that is Bianca Belair defending her WWE Raw Women's Championship against Asuka. This one is, I don't know how much invested into this match that I am. How about you? Like, do you see this being a really good match? Both competitors are great. I don't want to take that away from. I don't know that the storyline is there, so I'm not as invested into whomever wins this match.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, the match quality is going to steal the hour, so to speak, of whenever they're on because they're both excellent. Bianca Belair has been a fantastic champion over the better part of 2 years. She won the belt a couple years ago, and then had like the fluke loss to Becky Lynch at SummerSlam 2021. But I mean, she's been dominant for a year, since she won it last WrestleMania. Asuka's just kind of like a placeholder, I mean, she came back with a whole new like look. Um, yeah, I'm a huge fan of Asuka. Yeah, she's one of my favorites. I, but it's weird. I don't see her needing to win. I think a victory by Asuka would be oddly damaging to Bianca Belair. I mean, both women are going to be fine regardless of the outcome. I don't think that kind of what you're saying, there hasn't been enough storyline build to it that's been unique that would even justify taking the belt off of Belair. Because it's been that very generic like rivals tagging up in a match and getting in each other's way that you've seen a million times before. So I would hate to see a historical run of over a year with that belt come to an end at a very lackluster and uninspired story. So I would just imagine it's gonna be a really good match, but Bianca Belair is gonna still walk out as the Raw Women's Champion.
I agree with you that Bianca's going to keep it, unless I'm going to pose this question to you: if Asuka were to win it, and it's not Bianca, who do you think could possibly go up against Asuka and possibly take the title off of her to have a new reign? Do you think that they might do something like that?
I mean, it's just weird because the women's roster, I think, there's a lot of women, on Raw and SmackDown, but like so many of them are either like it's a really great divide, right? You've got like your main eventers, like a Charlotte Flair, like a Ronda Rousey, like a Bianca Belair, and those women have held the belt so many times that they're kind of boring, so they wouldn't be an exciting challenger. But on the other side of it, you've got the women like a Dewdrop, like a Candice LeRae, kind of like a Sonya Deville, who have been pushed so far in the other direction that they don't even like make sense possibly to be another contender. So that's why I'm so uninspired in this match and so unsure. I think that somebody that might be watching right now, if you're following NXT more carefully than we are, maybe you might know about some women that might be on the verge of getting called up, and they may be a better matchup for one or the other of these two women, and that might help some people make the decision. But as it is right now, I'm just going to say Bianca Belair and just kind of move on, I guess, to the next match. But what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I was very disappointed on how they handled Nikki Cross's title championship reign.
Oh
I
yeah,
I
ASH,
really
yes.
enjoyed her as a champion, and the way they just kind of punked her out. I was really sad about that. Dewdrop has a lot of a lot of these women that if they gave them the storyline, if they gave them the push, they would be awesome. They would be great. And it almost reminds me a little bit of, your Attitude Era / early 2000s when like the women's division, really like the Diva division kind of evolved. Your two big main ones were Trish and Lita. Every now and then you get a Molly Holly mixed in there, a Jazz, mixed in there. But for the most part, a lot of the title holders during that time frame was Trish and Lita. And now you've kind of got that same thing where you've got your Bianca, you've got your Charlotte, prior to leaving, had your Sashas and your Baileys. There's only those two or three that kind of hold the title for a brief period of time for those 2, 3, 4, 5 years before they need to start reinventing who's feuding, who's going to hold the title. So I don't know. I definitely am going to go with Bianca on this one. But what do you think? Do you think Bianca is going to still keep the title? Or do you think that Bianca is not ready for Asuka? Or is this going to be your bathroom break? I don't know. You leave those comments down below and tell us what you think of who's going to walk out the champion this match. All righty, let's go ahead and dive into a match that I kind of was alluding to just a little bit, and that is because this one is going to be Trish and Lita with Becky Lynch going up against Bayley, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai. You've got, your legends with Becky, with the new people from Damage Control. Becky Lynch and Lita are your tag champions for the women. This match is supposed to be, I think, really, really good. You've got 6 amazing ladies in this match. That you've got 2 legends, you've got 2 current mainstays, and I would say 2 up and comers. That you've got a nice blend of people that, Trish and Lita can learn from the newbies, on some of the techniques and stuff that they're doing nowadays. You've got Becky and Bayley that can learn from both sides. And then, of course, all 4 of the mainstays, they are going to be able to learn from legends like Lita and Trish. Those secrets, those trade stuff that, you're going to learn from having been in the business for 20, 30 years. I think this is going to be one of those matches that is just going to be pretty epic.
I think it's going to be a big match as far as going forward too. I think off the bat, I think that Io Sky and Dakota Kai are going to get swallowed up by all this. I think that what's going to happen in this match realistically is that Bayley is going to pin either Trish or Becky or Trish or Lita, and whoever she pins, I'm going to say she's going to pin Lita, and that's going to lead to a one-on-one match at SummerSlam between the two because there's a lot of personal history between Bayley as a woman and Lita when because she was like a hardcore fan of hers back in the day.
Right.
And I think that the match ending somehow is going to be because of miscommunication on the hand of Trish and Becky. So I think this match is really going to split off into a Damage Control win and I think you're going to get two really high level main event matches for SummerSlam later in the summer, where Becky's going to ultimately take on her former partner here with Trish, and then Bayley's going to go against Lita. And like I said, the Damage Control ladies are just going to be off to do something different. So that's my take on this match.
Interesting. You think they would wait until SummerSlam to do that? You don't think they would do that next pay-per-view?
I mean, it's possible, but SummerSlam's not as far out as it used to be. It used to be at the end of August. This year, it's August 5th, I believe. So it's only 2 months away, right? Oh, no, maybe it's about 4 months, actually. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you're right. I guess no matter what, I think it's going to lead to that kind of a thing. You know, I think that we are going to get some of those main event matches from, if not one, at least, not both pairings, at least one of those pairings.
Right, because I'm looking up their live premium events. You've got May 6th is going to be Backlash, and SummerSlam, as you mentioned, is going to be on August 5th. So, and then of course you also have May 27th. You've got the King and the Queen of the Ring in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia.
Right.
So we'll have two premium events in the month of May. Nothing in the month of June. And in fact, this is kind of interesting. I say interesting just because I noticed this. WrestleMania will be the last live premium event in the continental United States until SummerSlam when it comes back to Detroit.
Yeah, because Puerto Rico is hosting Backlash.
Yep, and then you'll have the King and Queen of the Ring in Saudi Arabia, and the Money in the Bank in July 1st will be in London. So I would say that I'm going to piggyback off of your thing, but I think Bayley is going to have a feud with Trish, and then so that way Io and Dakota don't get swallowed up. That's where you're going to have Lita and Becky defend their titles against them, because I don't know if did they ever get their rematch.
I don't believe so.
So I'm sure Bayley will advocate for them to, get their rematch. So that's kind of how I play. I think it's going to play. And as far as the win, I kind of think that it's going to be Trish, Lita, and Becky are going to take the win on this one.
I feel that's the first match that we've disagreed on.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily. But I'm sure that's not going to be the last one.
Oh, no, not at all.
But go ahead and leave your comments down below. Who do you think is going to win this match? Do you think it's going to be the tag team champions with Trish Stratus, or do you think it's going to be Damage Control? And what kind of ramifications do you think that might be set up for future pay-per-views? All that Pat gave his predictions. I gave mine. Let's see what happens. But again, leave those comments down below. Okay. It is now time for, depending on what night this could be potty break number 2 or potty break on night 2. I don't know. But for me, Brock Lesnar versus Omos, I have no interest in this match whatsoever.
I cannot believe that I disagree with you. And it's not you, it's me. Just the awkwardness of this match, the promos they've done, it feels awkward. That's the only way I could put it. It makes me want to see it from a train wreck perspective. Also, like, they did a really good job with like a video package last week with like a tail of the tape. That really got me pumped. I actually want to see this match because I think the wheels are going to fall off. I think it's going to be a terrible match. And from what I've been able to tell as a fan over the past 20 years with him, I feel that when Brock Lesnar is going to lose, he kind of has like job face. He has like, he has like the boo-boo face on, and he just kind of like goes out there and does like minimal. And I mentioned that because I think that Omos is going to beat him. and it's
Wow.
going to be in it. Well, because like he shouldn't, right? I mean, Omos lost to Lashley last year, I believe, but like I don't know. I mean, if Lesnar's leaving, which he's always being said he's leaving, it's always like on the lips of people that because then he re-signs a new contract and reappears. But yeah, I mean, Lesnar has nothing to prove. If they really want to do anything with Omos, he has to have a good victory. He hasn't won anything. He was with AJ Styles as the tag team champion, but that's about it. He hasn't had any other like major wins. Um, so I don't know. I didn't know I wanted this match, and I'm not going to be sitting there front and center, popcorn in my hand. But I don't think it's going to be a long match, and I just think it'll be kind of entertaining for what it is. And yeah, I think Lesnar's losing, and I don't know. I'm probably the only person on the internet that's saying that right now, including Omos.
Yeah, I again, I'm going to disagree with you. I From what I've seen, I don't think he's a good wrestler. I don't think he's a good performer.
Not at
He's
all.
he's very awkward, and for him to win, Brock Lesnar is going to have to carry the match. Not saying that he can't. However, I just don't see that happening. Now, here is my prediction. Could completely be wrong, but hey, that's what these things are. That's what predictions are for. But I think it's going to be a very under 5 minutes match. And of the first 2 minutes is just going to be them kind of squaring off, trying to, out muscle each other. Maybe, a German throwback, Omos will do some sort of like, press or whatever. But it's not going to be very technical. And Lesnar's going to come out with a spear and he's going to pin him 1, 2, 3. Now, what I'm predicting is going to happen is that they are going to bring back, and the name just eluded me, Shelton Benjamin, Bobby. I think they're gonna Omos is gonna be running away with his tail between his legs, and they're going to reform the Hurt Business with Omos and Lashley and Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander with MVP. I think that's what they're going to do. Again, like they MVP has like been almost sowing the seeds with Lashley about that, and I'm wondering if they're really going to be like, dude, you cannot do this by yourself. You cannot do this by yourself. You guys need to come together. You guys are both powerhouses out there. No one can defeat Bobby Lashley and Omos. I've been with both of you. Now let's all be together.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of talk about that for a while now because there's been a lot of start and stops for the Hurt Business reunion. Because that could play, like you're kind of alluding to, that could play into this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not gonna be a good match. But I'm looking more towards it than I ever anticipated that it would. The only matches in the show I don't care about at all are the 2 showcase matches. I really there's no stakes in them, and I'm just not interested in them at all.
Yep. So, you at home, leave your comments down below. Do you think the Beast Brock Lesnar is going to be victorious, or do you think that the 7-foot what is he? He's not a giant. He's not a monster. What is he?
Isn't he like the Nigerian prince or something? I don't know. Something like
Nigerian warrior or something like that. Do you think he's going to be victorious? You please leave your comments down below, and you give us what your thoughts are going to be of this match. All righty. Now I think we're gonna go away from those matches that we have zero interest in, and let's see how interested are you in the rated R superstar Edge versus Finn Balor, which is in a Hell in a Cell match.
Yeah, it's gonna be good. You're gonna see the return of the Demon, and I think that the Demon's gonna win. I think that Edge is gonna go away for a while again. And I think this is actually going to cement the Judgment Day even further. Because I think it's gonna be a really good match, but I think the Demon character needs some retribution after the stupidity of the Roman Reigns match with the faulty ropes. I mean,
Right.
um, yeah, I think it's gonna be a really good match, hard hitting, likely the match of the night. I've also heard that Gangrel is going to be there. It's like the worst kept secret apparently in wrestling right now. Um, but yeah, I think it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a really good story, but I do think Finn Balor is gonna beat Edge.
I unfortunately think you might be right.
I mean,
Uh,
you're an OG Edge head.
I know that's one of my original favorites. So I do think that things are going to happen. Whether Damian Priest gets involved, whether Gangrel gets involved, if he's even there. The fact that it is a Hell in a Cell match, it's going to get brutal. It's going to get just going to be all over the place. And I do agree that based on the way they've been doing their promos, the Demon is coming back. And again, if Gangrel is going to be there, then the Brood is going to show up, minus Christian.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be a good match. I'm definitely excited for this one. Win or lose, on Edge, I'll be rooting for him, in my heart. But I think at the end of the day, Finn Balor is going to walk away with the win on this one. So let's see. Will Judgment Day be victorious in this match with Finn Balor beating Edge, or do you think Edge heads will prevail at the end of the night with your rated R superstar being victorious in this match? Go ahead and leave those comments down below what your thoughts are on this match. All righty. Next match, we're going to be talking about the Intercontinental title. This one kind of started off a little rough, but this one we've got Drew McIntyre versus Sheamus versus the title holder Gunther. So this is a triple threat match. What are your thoughts? Do you think that the relationship of Sheamus and Drew McIntyre will survive this match? Do you think their friendship is going to explode? Do you think Gunther is going to walk away with the title?
Well, I think that they're like the fact you're even mentioning the friendship thing, that's irrelevant because they spent all year last year fighting each other. So it's like, yeah, I think they are genuinely friends in real life. I mean, I'm pretty sure that he was like his best man at his wedding or something. But either way, I'm looking at this just from the match quality. This match is going to be epic. If they get anything less than 20 minutes, it's going to be a tragedy. All three of these guys can go. They're so good. I think Gunther is going to lose the belt, but I think it's going to be one of those, like, I think that Sheamus is going to win it, and I think he's going to actually pin Drew. But I think that's also to keep Gunther strong, because I kind of alluded to this earlier about, first contenders. I mentioned it might be Seth Rollins, but I mean, Gunther could very well possibly be the first contender for Cody as well. With Cody Rhodes being a world champion, if that's where they go with it, you have a whole lot of new possibilities. With a good guy champion, a lot of new contenders. So, long way to say it. Sheamus is winning the belt. Gunther's not getting pinned. Gunther's going to move on to bigger and better things.
I was going to say that Sheamus was going to pin Gunther, but then you pointed out, keeping Gunther, strong, and I actually agree with that. So I'm going to change my answer looking off of your answer, and I'm going to also agree. I do think that Sheamus is going to win it, because every now and then WWE likes to do those feel-good stories.
Yeah.
And I believe this is one of those titles that they've pointed out that Sheamus hasn't won.
It's the only belt he hasn't won other than the Divas Butterfly title.
Right.
He wanted it.
That's next year. So he's just got that on. That's his tramp stamp, though. So Sheamus will, I believe, will win the title, so that way he can be that Grand Slam champion. And as you kind of alluded to, Gunther's not going to get pinned. I do agree that he's going to pin Drew, and I think that Drew is going to be the first person to congratulate him, hug him, and like really be a spokesperson for Sheamus being champion. He's not going to be bitter, He might try to go, hey, friend to friend, man to man, let's do a match,
Right.
But yeah, I do think that Sheamus is going to walk away with a title because again, every now and then WD will give you those heartfelt storylines, and having him be a Grand Slam champion would be a nice thing for Sheamus to actually put on his his dream board. So, but what do you think at home? Do you think that Sheamus is going to pin anyone? Do you think it's going to be Drew McIntyre, or do you think Gunther is still going to be ruling supreme with Imperium as the Intercontinental title? Go ahead and leave that comment down below. Now, unfortunately, we have to talk about these next two matches. As I mentioned earlier, one of these matches that is set for WrestleMania is not fully booked. And that, of course, is the match that is going to be Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. My apologies there. We'll fix that in post, right?
Yeah.
Natalya and Shotzi versus Ronda Rousey, Shayna Baszler versus mystery opponent and mystery opponent. So the little showcase thing that they're doing here with the 4 tag matches, 4 tag teams going at each other. I don't know.
I don't care.
um,
None of the only team on here that makes any sense are the Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler.
And I don't want them to win.
Well, I mean, the Natty Shotzi thing, I don't understand what those two women have ever done, because all they do is they get put in these random tag teams, and it makes no sense.
But they at least have a cool tag team name.
What's their cool tag team name?
Shotzi Through the Heart.
That's okay.
Well, considering the other two don't have one, I at least I read that. Again, I don't know if that's official or if it's just, I thought it was clever. I thought it was cute. Again, I don't care unless the 4th and final mystery opponents are revealed. I to be someone super spectacular, I have no care about this.
Yeah. I just assume it's going to be Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler winning this, and
so
that's it. This is the bathroom break for me for sure. I have no interest at all.
So I'm going to make the prediction: the 4th and final competitors are going to be Candice LeRae and Nikki Cross, and they're going to win.
There you go.
Or whoever the 4th competitor is, they're going to win.
Okay. Works for me.
So, by chance, people at home, do you care more about this match than all that Pat and myself does? Our bar, if you have like 5% care, you're probably beating us. So that being said, who do you think is going to win this match? Do you think it's going to be one of the 3 lady teams that are already announced, or do you want to hold your answer until you find out who the 4th person is? We didn't. Yeah. We don't. So leave those comments down below. Now, the women's match may not be as exciting, but all that, Pat, do you care even about the men's showcase? You've got Braun Strowman and Ricochet versus the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy versus the Viking Raiders.
I only care because I want to see the continuation of Otis in his transformation as the newest male maximum male model. I don't care about this match at all. It'll be good. Viking Raiders, they'll probably win. Yeah, I look forward to watching this match because of all the distractions of Masse and Mansois at the ringside trying to get Otis. I'm just gonna be watching ringside. I don't care about the actual match in the ring.
So picture, if you will, Otis as a caterpillar. And he's going to find himself into a cocoon and eventually come back and go, I'm a beautiful butterfly. That is my Heimlich impression from A Bug's Life.
I mean, these teams are great. Like at least as opposed to the women's teams, like these are actual teams. Even the Ricochet Braun Strowman team has kind of gotten a little bit of mojo. Like the women's match, though, they're not even teams. Even like the Shayna Baszler, Ronda Rousey, they're not a team. They're well known that they are friends outside of wrestling. Yeah, this will at least be a fun match to watch, but I just don't. I mean, again, you got like 76 matches over the course of 48 hours. I just don't care.
Yeah, I know you kind of mentioned that your thoughts maybe that the Viking Raiders are going to win it. Yeah. I'm going to throw my prediction out that it is going to be Strowman and Ricochet. Not that I don't want to give love to the Alpha Academy or Street Profits. I'm saying they are, but I'm going to root for the Street Profits because of the four, that's the team I like the most. But yeah, I think maybe Braun Strowman and Ricochet, they're going to win it. I don't know why. I'm just throwing a dart at a board, really. So, so you at home, you watching, tell us what you think. Why should Street Profits win this match? Why should Viking Raiders, Alpha Academy, or why should they win? Or do you think it is Strowman and Ricochet that's going to win it? You leave those comments down below. All right, we are almost done with all these matches. I believe we've got maybe 2 left. And this next one is very much been building for a long time. It is very much a tugging of the heartstrings because, as you alluded to, 2-3 years ago, these two were a tag team and became the very first and only at this point father and son tag team champions. But this WrestleMania, Rey Mysterio is going one-on-one with his own son, Dominic Mysterio. After last week's events on I believe it was Raw, or it was SmackDown.
SmackDown was when he finally knocked him out.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, this has been a long time, like you're saying. I mean, basically, to put it into perspective historically, first of all, the Usos, they started their tag team reign, that record-setting reign, by beating the Mysterios for those belts.
Yeah.
That was summer 2021, I believe. And even going further back than that, on our very show, I predicted that Rey and Dominic would have a mask match at WrestleMania when they were still like in good graces with each other. So I was a little off by a couple years. I am very much looking forward to this match. I think that Dominic Mysterio has to beat his father. I think that's going to be a victory, and I think the surprise will be I think he's going to beat him clean, because his character is already like crappy. He's already kind of like a cheater. And I do think this would be like a big, like, coming out of the shadows match where he'll be able to rest his head on beating his father. I wouldn't be shocked if this is also an unadvertised Rey Mysterio swan song.
Right.
I again alluded to that a couple years ago, but the guy is 56, I think. He's
Wow.
yeah, I think that Dominic beats him clean, and I think Rey retires. I mean, he's going in the Hall of Fame this week, so.
I was going to say, he is going into the Hall of Fame. Most people don't have a steady career once they go into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Or they don't have a steady, career, and then they go into the Hall of Fame. It's very rare that people that you have like Edge, I think might be one of the only. I'll use regular. Well, and like you kind of
No, you're right. Yeah.
that are wrestling on a pseudo frequent basis.
Yeah, no, Edge is the only one. I mean, because
like I'm not counting Trish or Lita right now because again, they're here for a moment and then they're going to be gone.
Right. Exactly.
And I just think that right now, like he's one of the only ones, and that's just because he had to retire before his time.
Mm-hmm.
He got placed into the Hall of Fame. I don't want to say prematurely because he 100% deserved going in the Hall of Fame, but that was also with the mentality that he was never going to wrestle again.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But one of the things that I have thought that whereas like Charlotte lives, not only say lives off of, but she embraces the Flair name. She has taken the Flair name and made it hers own. She has,
she does now, that's for sure. She used to not.
Right. So I'm wondering, I almost feel that Dominic needs to drop the Mysterio last name. That he's literally known as Dominic. Kind of, I've beaten you. I no longer need you. And in fact, I don't even need your last name.
It's an interesting way to look at it.
That's going to be kind of a promo for tomorrow night or for the Monday after Raw. Monday Raw after WrestleMania. Wow, a lot of words. That just because it always feels weird seeing Dominic Mysterio fighting against Rey Mysterio. So to have him drop that name, I think that can elevate him just a little bit higher after he does. And I agree with you after he does win against Rey Mysterio, because again, Rey has taught him everything that he knows, but he's also been under the learning tree of Damian Priest, Finn Balor, and Mommy. So therefore, he's got more knowledge now. And trying to be that hardened criminal that he is, he needs to have this win to really elevate him as a credible wrestler, performer moving forward. So I agree with you. So what do you think? Do you think Dominic is going to beat his father? Or do you think Rey Mysterio is going to take Dominic over his knee and give him a whooping 1, 2, 3? Leave those comments down below and give us your thoughts to see what's going to happen in this match. All righty. All that, Pat. We have come down to the final match. We've been talking for almost an hour. And it is now time to talk about the main event. Cody Rhodes, the American Nightmare. He won the Royal Rumble back in January. He has challenged the undisputed WWE Universal Champion of Roman Reigns, the head of the table, the head chief, all those things for the Island of Relevancy. This one is going to be most likely your main event, night number 2 on Sunday, April 2nd.
Absolutely.
How do you think this match is going to go down?
Well, good easy money is on Cody Rhodes, right?
Okay.
There's so many reasons why you'd have Cody. The story in itself tells itself out smoothly. The whole idea that a Rhodes has never won a world title in WWE. You have a guy that left the company disgruntled. He came back after starting his own company, and he's making this big triumphant return. He's even made the big triumphant return over injury. So like, why wouldn't he be the one? And if Cody isn't the one, who else could it be? Because Roman Reigns has ran through the entire roster. So most people are going to say Cody Rhodes. Okay. I will say, though, Roman Reigns as of WrestleMania is going to be something over 850 days. That's awfully close to 1,000. And if I'm not mistaken, the next show, I think it's the Money in the Bank show or whatever. That'll be like the 1,000th day of his reign. So you almost have that storyline built into it. Should Roman Reigns retain, you could go for quadruple digits. I still do think Cody Rhodes is going to be the one to pin him for the first time in over 2 years. When trivia question, Baron Corbin was the last person to ever beat Roman Reigns. So yeah, I mean, I think Cody's going to win the belts. I think that's going to be a huge moment. Again, it's justifiable, and it's going to really show anybody thinking about leaving AEW that they're going to do something with you. But yeah, the whole thing about Roman's the number of days he's had the belts, how close it could be to 1,000, kind of like came to me the other day. But overall, yeah, Cody. I think Cody's going to win the belt.
All right, I disagree.
Okay.
So kind of as what you're alluding to, I believe he's actually around that 920 right now.
Yeah.
He's had the title for over 900 days. I think he's like at 917 ballpark many days. So for him to hold on to it possibly until SummerSlam, in when it's in Detroit, let him get to the 4 digits. Because as one of the conversations that we've had, for the people of the 2000 era, the people of the 90s, even, we have not had a dominant title holder champion since the days of Hulk Hogan, Bruno Sammartino of the 70s and 80s. We have not there has not been someone that has held the title for this long. The previous title holder length was Brock Lesnar at 500 something days, and he surpassed that by like 400 days.
Yeah, so, 939 right now. Yeah.
How much?
939 as of today.
So he's almost at that 950. So definitely, I feel that he needs to hold on to it for, like, I want him to hold on. I'm supporting my Roman Reigns right here. I do think that
even notice it.
It's one of the old shirts, but I was gonna wear my Austin 316, but couldn't find it. So again, I do think that Roman Reigns is going to win. And here is the theory that I presented to my wife, Lady Cash, the night of Royal Rumble. Now, things have evolved since then, so this possibly may not be true. But this is the theory that I had 2 months ago. This is all a trap between Roman and Sami Zayn. They are still working together. I feel that the Usos are going to win. And it isn't going to be because they pin Sami Zayn. And Sami Zayn is going to get invited to the ring by Cody Rhodes. And Sami Zayn is going to turn and go back heel and double cross Cody Rhodes and allow Roman Reigns to win and keep the title for a little bit longer. Everything that was going on, I told Lady Cash, I'm like, what if all of this is a ruse? He is not going to be able to beat Roman Reigns, and so therefore, Cody Rhodes is the only one that can do it. But Cody Rhodes wants Sami Zayn out there because he, and maybe even Kevin Owens might be out there as well. But because The Usos are going to be there. You know that Solo's going to be out there at some point. They're going to get involved in this match. So I think that Cody is going to know this and is going to want Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens out there by his side to help go up against the Usos. But at some point in the match, Sami Zayn is going to take the title belt or a chair, and instead of throwing it to Cody, is going to throw it to Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns is going to give that blow to Cody Rhodes and be able to pin him 1, 2, 3. And the bloodline is going to be reformed and be whole once again. That is my theory.
Yeah, I'm just curious, like, if that does go that direction, what's the end game for Sami Zayn at this point then? Like, at what point does he ever get to the next level? I mean, if they do what you're saying, does Roman give him one of the belts as a reward? You know what I mean? Because otherwise, like, why would Sami Zayn lose out on winning a title? But you never know. Crazier things have happened in wrestling because, it's sometimes the most obvious, predictable outcomes are the best. Sometimes being swerved is for the best too.
Right.
So yeah, let's see what happens for sure.
It's a long shot. It's a conspiracy theory. I've jumped. It's Sami Zayn.
Exactly.
It's in Zayn.
Yes.
I get it. But again, I do think that Sami Zayn is going to be the deciding factor of who wins. Whether that is Roman Reigns or if it is Cody Rhodes, who knows? But this being our last match of WrestleMania, what do you think is going to be the final outcome? Do you think Cody Rhodes will end the reign of Roman Reigns at WrestleMania? Or do you think that the tribal chief will continue to be ahead of the table on the island of relevancy and be the one victorious over Cody Rhodes? You leave your comments down below, and I'd like to read them. So, all that, Pat, are we any closer to being excited for WrestleMania?
Oh, I'm definitely excited. I said maybe on video or before, I took some Theraflu NyQuil, so I'm like, I've fallen asleep. Yeah, it's nothing to do with the card. The card's good. So yeah.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank everyone for joining us here on this special edition, WrestleMania edition of Slam Nation right here on the New York Nerd Show. Definitely check back with us. We are trying to put up some more videos throughout the month, throughout the year. So definitely subscribe to our channel, whether it is on Facebook, whether it's on YouTube, whether on Twitch. You'll get those notifications when we do go live, and that way you can watch all of our content, whether we are talking about wrestling, we're talking about video games, we're talking about trading cards, Funko Pops. I think I know something about those. And of course, I think April's almost here. So that means what are the top 5 streaming shows that you should be looking out for? Definitely, we're going to hope to get those up by the end of the month. So that way, on April 1st, you are ready to rock and roll and you know what to check out. So all that, Pat, myself, Lord Cash, we bid you adieu and a good night. And yeah, just have fun out there, man. Be safe.
Good night. Adios.
Good night, everybody.